Hey guys, welcome to tutorial number 10. Now we have go through so many videos and I'm not sure about how is your feedback to this tutorial series. How have everything been going? And I appreciate if you leave your if you can leave your comment below to let me know if there's anything that can be improved, because we still have another 20 to 24 tutorials to go through in this series, and I really hope that you can learn a lot of things from this series. And today we are going to look at how we can build this bus arrival screen with some Kivy label button and also Kivy image button. So these screens really allows you to see what are the buses they are going to arrive at this bus stop, and then when is the next bus estimated arrival time in minutes, and then how is the load condition on the bus, whether the seats are available or standing available, or is so packed that you can only stand. And also we give the information like wheelchair accessible or not. So if this bus is not in operation, we are going to put NA here, not available. And furthermore, you can see that we can differentiate between the types of bus that are coming. We have a single deck bus, we have a double deck bus, and this one is a type of bus in which two container, would you call it container? I don't know. It's a kind of long bus that are connected together. So in between of it, there is something like a bellow. They connect two parts of the bus. So it's kind of like a long bus. So we are going to look at how we can manipulate we can put different type of image based on the API information that we receive on the data more get request URL. So remember that in tutorial number 6, when we click on the bus stop screen, we will be shown with a front layer and a back layer. So front layer we will have a map view, back layer we have a list of bus stop together with the bus service number that are available at the bus stop. So when you click on this banner, right, what I want to do is to show you or show the user this screen, and this is our target today. And when you click back, it's going to go back to here again. Okay, so to create this, first let me go to where we left in the last tutorial, and this is where we left. We have a bus stop screen, front layer, back layer, and you click this, it's nothing is going to happen. And then you have a bus services screen. As you click this, it's going to show you a list of banner as well. I mean, when you click this, nothing is going to happen. So we're going to come back here, bus stop, and today we're going to handle the event that is going to happen after this as you click this. So I'll close this, and then as usual we go to the text-based version of the web-based version of the tutorial. So the data that we are going to use is a bus arrival section 2.1 in the LTA data mode, which is this one. Well, in fact, I think I already covered this in the bus services tutorial, but we didn't actually make full use of the information like the estimated arrival time, load feature, type of vehicle, single deck, double deck. BD is bandy. Yeah, the long bus that I described to you just now is called bandy, and wheelchair accessible, seats available, standing available, limited standing. So this is the load condition. Well, we also have the latitude and longitude of that bus. Okay, origin code, destination code, estimated arrival time. This is the information that we need. So this is the format that you are going to get when you do a GET request. But we are going to transform this into something like a minute arrival time. And yeah, so you can do a postmin get request to see what kind of data you are expecting. So documentation actually give you example like you have a parameters called bus.code, and then you can actually put it here, question mark, which is get bus.code equal to the bus.code they are looking for. So this one is the base URL, and then this one is your path, BusArrival v2. So if you send a get request to this one, right, to this URL, right, this is what you are going to get. So you have a you will get the object, and then inside of it you will get the bus.code, and then and then the services. Services is a list of multiple objects. So each object consists of different bus service number, and then also when is the next bus arrival, next bus, next bus. So that what we are going to display here: next bus 2, next bus 3. Okay, so very excited to get started, right? So to get started, the first thing that we always have to do is to create a screen. So in here we are going to create a bus arrival screen. Let me close this, and then here we are going to create a bus arrival screen. And then the next thing is always in the man.kv. Oops. We want to import bus arrival screen.kv from the kv folder. We haven't created that, but let's put it here first. And then of course in the screen manager we want to create a bus arrival screen, which is the next step. Make sure you are aligned properly, save it, and then we come to kv folder, and then we create a screen called BusArrival screen.kv. Oops, typo error. Not kv, and then this is our step 5. Copy all this, copy, paste. Okay, so what we are going to have here is a float layout, and then inside the float layout we will have a grid layout. So this portion, which the size is only 10%, 0.1, the position is going to take up 0.895 because the top 10% we are putting our title. So we are putting at 0.895, and then we are this grid is going to take up 10% of the screen, and then it's going to be a column. And this grid layout, what we want to do is give it an ID of BusArrivalHeader container. So here is where we want to put our header to show the user what these icons are referring to. Okay, and then next we will have a scroll view. Here we want to have a scroll view, and then you define the position here and size hint. Because you have a float layout here, you can define the position hint and size hint. And then of course you want to have our MD grid layout. So remember later on we want to import an MD grid layout and the main.py so that you can use the MD grid layout here. So for this MD grid layout, this is a scroll view. Underneath the scroll view we want to have a grid layout. This grid layout is going to be a column, and then yeah, additive height equal to true. Spacing is the spacing between the banner. Okay, you can define the default height of the row. So this you can change it. In my case I put 100 dp. I think it works fine for me, so I put 100 dp. You can change it to whatever value that you want, but if you put it too small, these icons are going to be out of your canvas. Okay, and then other than that, at the same layer as scroll view, I also have a back button, which is in a grid layout. It's an image button. So as you click this back button, it's going to go back to the bus stop screen. Okay, next. So in the main.py, in the change screen function, we want to say if screen name is equal to bus arrival screen, then we will do something. For now, we just print that screen name is screen name, but later on we are going to add on something here. Make sure you save it. Okay. Save. And now it's time for us to create our bus arrival banner. So each of these is a banner, and then we are in a list. The list is in a scroll view. So this bus arrival banner is going to be a long one. We can create it here. We don't need to create a folder because it's just going to be one single Python file, bus arrival banner. And then make sure you copy from the beginning. I think it's around 400 over lines for this. Oh, 390. Okay, that's good. 390 lines, and now I'm going to explain you what is happening here. Make sure you save it and pay a lot of attention to this BusArrivalBanner.py. There are a lot of functions that are actually happening here. So first we have a favorite button. As you click the favorite button, it's going to execute the SQL command to save this particular bus service together with the bus stop code into your myapp.db. We are going to create a table called favorite later, and it's going to save this information there. So if you remember, in our navigation drawer, as you open the navigation drawer, we have something called favorite. As you open this favorite, we want to display to the user the bus arrival information that he or she saved. So this is the reason why we want to have a star button over here. And then we want to show the bus service number in the label button, and the rest of it are in image button. So then we want to show the estimated bus arrival type for next bus 2, and next bus 3. So remember, we need to do a query to section 2.1 of the data model URL, and that's why we need to have a header, account key, LTA account key, accept application/JSON, and this is our base URL. Okay, then we define a class. In fact, in this file, we are going to have two classes. One is called class BusArrivalHeader. The other is called class BusArrivalBanner. So we have two classes. One is header, one is banner. So this header is going to refer to this. Okay, we are going to have 4 sections. Section 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this 4 section, right? Each section is going to have different information. So first, I want to define that this canvas, the whole canvas, the size and position of it is going to bind to the parent, which is the BusArrivalHeader class. So if you update its position and size according to position and size of the parent, and that is the whole reason of having this. And next thing, as I mentioned, we divide this header into 4 sections. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, and Section 4. And then each of them are actually float layout. The reason why I want to have float layout is because I want to define the sizing and position of each widget. So in the first section, I want to have an image widget, and then I want to have a label widget, image and label. So the image is going to be seats available, and the label is going to be seats available. So this /n means to move this available to the next line. And then color, you can define the color of your text. Here I define it as black color, markup equal true. And then once you define this, right, you need to add this into your float layout. And then eventually you need to add this float layout into your header. which is your bus arrival header, your parent class. So I do the same for the second section, third section, and fourth section, and then after that, make sure you add all the foot layout into the self. Self is referring to this, okay? Then we come to a more complicated one, which is this one, okay? So when you are calling, you actually want to call this BusArrivalBanner in the main.py. We are going to instantiate it, and then we are going to pass some arguments or variables here into this banner, and then after that we are going to do something here. So what I'm going to do first is I define it as a row, because it's a banner, it's a row, and then I'm going to define some default value. So for all these variable, I want to define some default in case this information is not available and something go wrong in the script, and then at least you have a default value and it won't give you an error and crash the app. So that's why I define all these default value for next bus 2, and next bus 3. And then as you start the app, right, first you want to have a canvas, same like our header. We also define a canvas for the BusArrivalBanner. And then these are the argument, bus service and bus stop description that we pass. We are going to pass from main.py. Later I'm going to show you as we create the next function, which is called go to BusArrivalBanner. We will have this function in the main.py, and then later on we are going to pass the argument here, including bus stop description, and also the bus service. These are 3 arguments that we are going to pass to here, so that we can use the quads to refer to them. So I'm going to pass bus stop here, I'm going to pass bus service here, and then to use section 2.5 of the LTA data model, you need to have this path, and then there are 2 parameters actually that you can specify according to the documentation. One is called bus stop code, it is compulsory. Service number is not compulsory, but if you only pass in this parameter bus stop code, it's going to give you this information for all the bus services for that bus stop. But if you know the bus service number that you are looking for, then you can also pass this second parameter information. And what it's going to give you is only the information for that particular service number. Okay. So we define our URL. In this case, I'm going to use both the parameter because I know the bus service number and I also know my bus stop code. And then I'm going to do a request. JSON load the data. So I'm going to try if this fail, it's going to throw me an error. Arrival data not available for this bus service. Okay. It's not going to crash the app. Otherwise, if you don't put this, if the information is not available, it's going to crash the app. Okay. So when the information is not available, that means there is some reason. First, the bus is not in operation. For the entire day, maybe it's not in operation. This bus no longer exists or what. Second reason is probably it's because it's already too late. For example, it's 12 AM in the midnight and the bus is no longer in operation. That's why no matter how you query it, it's not going to give you any data, and therefore this variable are going to refer to the default value that I declared in the beginning. So this is how I have this NA. So 75A might be a bus that is no longer in operation, or probably it only works it only operate on the weekend. Therefore, on the weekday, if you try to look for this bus, it's going to give you NA. Okay. So our bus arrival data is going to refer to bus arrival response, key services, okay. And so I define this variable to be NA in the beginning. So if I have this data available, okay, my query is successful, I'm going to change the default NA value to the correct value based on what I get. So in this case, next bus, I'm referring to next bus, origin code, destination code, estimated arrival time, latitude, longitude, visit number, load feature, and time. For the estimated arrival time, right, I'm going to call a function to change this variable. Okay, because by default, this is what you are going to get. I want to change this into minute. Okay, and then later I want to display it in my banner. So if the next bus load is what I get from the next bus load is SEA, which means it's available, I'm going to change the icon from transparent to sysavailable.png, which is a green color one. I'm going to change it to this icon. And same for if the bus load condition is others, I'm going to change it accordingly. Standing available, limited standing, okay, wheelchair accessible. And then the bus type, whether it's single deck, double deck, or bandy, I'm going to change it from transparent to the respective image. Okay, so the same thing that I did for next bus 2 and next bus 3. Okay, well, as I'm doing it in a rush, there might be better way of doing it. So you may probably write a for loop from 0, 1, 2, 3 to have a shorter version of the code to better handle it without excessive code. Well, because I'm doing it in a rush, and therefore a lot of codes I didn't optimize for it. So I believe you can do it better, and maybe you can leave your comment below to show other how you're doing it in a better way. So yeah, and now we come to we want to handle for this. We already handle for this. We prepare a variable ready to put inside the banner. Now we also want to handle for this. So remember that we want to create a table called favorite in our myapp.db. So once we have created the table, right, we can actually connect to this table, and then we do a select query from this table for the bus stop code and bus service number, which match with the bus stop code and bus service number that we pass to this banner. So one banner is going to have one bus stop code and one service number. Okay, so when we query, if there is anything, right, if the length of error is 0, okay, this is going to be black. But if you query and if there is something inside the favorite, and this favorite source, we are going to change it to a yellow star. But when did we actually add this bus stop code and bus service number into a favorite? We are actually doing it. I'm going to show you later. So we create this button for the purpose of letting the user to click on it, so that we can do the insert query to the favorite table inside the database. We will store the bus stop code and bus service number of this banner, and then as we load this app, right, if this service number with this particular bus stop code exists in your database, we want to show in yellow to show the user that you already have this inside your favorite. Okay, now same for what we did for the header. here we are going to divide it into 4 sections as well. Section 1, section 2, 3, and 4. So these 4 sections are going to be float layout. So the first section, we are going to have our favorite button, which is an image button. The source of the image button is going to be this favorite source. Favorite source will be different depending on whether this favorite data is available in your database or not. And then also on release, we are going to call a function called change favorite data. So as you click this button, right, it's going to call a function called change favorite data, which is at the bottom. Okay, this function is going to do something like if you check if the current button self.firstButton favorite.source, if you check if current source your source, if currently is a black star or yellow star. If currently is a black star, which means that you haven't have it in your database, then we are going to do an insert SQL command to insert the bus code and bus service number inside your favorite table. Okay, and then at the same time, after we add it, we are going to change the source to a yellow star button. Okay, and then we are going to pop up a snack bar at the bottom to say that, okay, now you have added your this bus service number to the favorite successfully. And then to use the snack bar at the top, you need to define kivymd.urx.snackbar equal to from kivymd.urx.snackbar import snackbar, and then you also need to have the window and the matrix. Okay. So if your current button is not a black star, which means it's a yellow star, then we want to delete this item from your table. So if currently is a yellow star, if you click it again, it's going to turn back to a black star, but at the same time, it's going to delete that particular bus service number and bus stop code from your database. And then it's going to tell you remove from favorite successfully. Okay. So then the second section, right? We want to show the next bus load icon, which can be green, yellow, and red, and it's an image button. And then next we will have a label button. This one is going to display your next bus estimated arrival minute. So this one we are actually getting from here, and to get this one, you need to use a function to handle this row estimated time. So we pass this one to this function, and what this function is going to do is going to define time zone. My time zone now is Singapore time zone, so I define my time zone PYTZ. So on the top you need to import PYTZ and import mat, because we are now going to do some mathematical operation. So your current time is the date time dot now with the time zone, and replace TZ info equal to none. This is going to ignore some unnecessary information. And so we define a variable process time is equal to row time. You pass this one here, right? We call it row time. So row time, we want to replace the T. It's a string, so we want to replace the T with space. And then we want to replace the plus 08 00, this one, to nothing. And then we want to change this we want to change this string into date time format, strp time. Okay, this is how you convert string to time. We want the format to be like this. Okay, and then you're going to calculate the time delta between the arrival time and your current time. So we use a minus. You can use a minus mathematical operation for date time data. So we calculate the time data between the arrival time and the current time, and then we change it to total second, and then we change it to minute. So if the minute is less than 0, right, which means that your bus is arriving, so we are going to return arrive string. Otherwise, we are going to round down the minute. If let's say your minute is 1.5 minute, we're going to round down it to 1 minute, and then we are going to change it to string, and then we are going to return it. So we return it to here, and then you will be able to use this information in your section 2, which is here. Okay. So same. Then we create image buttons for next bus type, which is this one, and then also one more is the wheelchair, which is this one. And then you add everything to the full layout. So we do the same for third and fourth, and then you add first, second, third, and fourth section into the self, which is the BusArrivalBanner. One thing you may notice here on release, all of them is going to call a function called load_bus_route, and then it's going to bring an argument called BusRouteData. So this BusRouteData initially is going to be an empty object. So this BusRouteData, we are going to give it a key like bus.code, and then with this key, the value is going to be the current bus.code for this banner. And then with this key of BusArrivalData is going to be equal to the self.BusArrivalData. So what this self.BusArrivalData is about, this self.BusArrivalData will be the data that you query is about all this information, okay, from the UTA data model. So we want to push this information BusRouteData and the bus.code to not BusRouteData, BusArrivalData and the bus.code. We want to push it to this function called load_bus_route. We haven't created this load_bus_route at the main.py yet. So the reason why is that after this BusArrivalBanner is created, as you click on it, it will bring you to a screen like this, which the front layer will show you the bus route, the back layer will show you bus route in the map view. Okay. Long explanation, but I hope you understand that. Okay. So I think we stop at step number 8. We have been talking about the favorite table in our database, but we haven't created that. All the while I was showing you how to create that with using createDB.py, but there is actually another way of doing it. So I'm going to show you how, so that you understand there are always multiple ways of doing something. So in the MyTransportApp folder, I'm going to say cmd. This open up my command prompt, and I'm going to say SQLite3 myapp.db. So this is going to connect it to your myapp.db, and then if you say .schema, it's going to list out all the tables that are already available in this database. And we can actually say, can actually perform this SQL command directly here. If you paste it, enter, and then you say .schema again, now you have this favorite table available, and then we have two columns. One is bus.code, one is bus service number. Both of them are text time. Okay. So close it, and just now I mentioned that as we click this, we want to call a function called load_bus_route, which will bring us to this screen. That's why in the main.py we want to create that function. So, but for the moment, we are just going to say pass. We're going to do the content of those bus route in the coming tutorial. For now, we are going to say pass so that when you click on it, it won't crash. Okay. So, okay, you might wonder why I have a lost bus route and lost bus route general. Okay, listen carefully. So, lost bus route is called from bus arrival screen. Lost bus route general is being called from bus service screen. When you are at the bus arrival screen, you know the bus stop, a particular bus stop, and you know a particular bus service, and then you know where this bus service is being, you know that this bus service is going to this bus stop. Okay, you are clear about that, and therefore when we load the bus route, we can show to the user that the particular bus is going to arrive at this particular bus stop. Okay. So you can show that, okay, these are the bus stop that the bus has gone through, and next is going to come into this bus stop. Okay, this is what we can show to user with the information from the bus arrival screen. But if you are at the bus service screen, as you click this, you will only have the bus service information, but you don't know where this bus is going to reach. Okay, so so what we can do is to display a general information to the user that this bus service, if it only travel in one direction or two directions, then we can display something like this. Black color are referring to the bus route in one direction. Red color are displaying the bus route in another direction. But in this case, if you navigate to this bus route screen from the bus service screen, we do know where is this bus is currently located, and which bus stop is going to reach. Okay, so this is more like a general information. Therefore, I'm going to put a general load bus route general. So load bus route general is coming from bus service screen, and then lost bus route is coming from the bus arrival screen. Okay. So remember just now we have an MD grid layout. Of course, we want to import this. Bus arrival screen. We have an MD grid layout here, and therefore in the main.py you need to have this. Save it, and then in the main.py under the main app class, we need to create this function. Go to BusArrivalBanner. I believe previously we have already created this function, but when we put a pass, so now put a comment here, and then let's copy the content. Copy it, paste. Okay, so now we have this go to BusArrivalBanner, which is from the particular banner from the bus stop list. Okay, so from the bus stop screen, as you click this, it's going to call this function go to BusArrivalBanner, and then we are coming to here. Okay, so what it's going to do is, first we refer to the BusArrival scroll container, which is this portion. We refer to this, and then we try to check if the scroll container has got any BusArrivalBanner or not. If yes, then we will remove it. Okay, and then this is something that we want to do for refreshing the bus arrival screen. So as the user stay at this screen, every 1 minute we want to refresh this screen to show the user the more updated bus arrival timing. Therefore, we will check this args. This args is being passed from the bus stop list. So you see that as we click on this 2-line item list on the bus stop screen, we will pass an argument called each object. This each object is going to be each object inside the master bus service or bus stop. Okay, so this is an example of the args. If you print these args, right, this is an example that you will get. So we have the bus stop code and the description of the bus stop and all the bus services in that particular bus stop. This is the information that we pass to BusArrival. Go to BusArrivalBanner. So with this information, depends on how many bus services that are available, we are going to create how many. If you have 5, we are going to create 5 banner. If you have 10, we are going to create 10 banner. Okay, so if this so first, so we say that bus service of bus stop is equal to args 0. Okay, we are going to take this first object, args 0. Okay, then we can going to assign this to backup another variable. Why we are doing this, I'm going to explain to you later. So first we take this, we ignore the second one, which is an object. We take the first one, and then for each bus service, we are going to create a BusArrival banner. Okay, then we are going to pass the information to the BusArrival banner, including the bus stop, which is this one. We are going to pass a description. Also, we are going to pass each bus service. Okay, and then after that, once we have the BusArrival banner being created, we are going to use our BusArrival list, which is this one, to add this widget to that screen. And then why we have this one is because later on we will have something with calling this function again at the change screen function, and I will leave it out first, then I will come back to you explaining why we want to have this. So as we call this function, we also not want to change the title of the screen to the bus stop description, including the bus stop code and the bus stop description, and then we want to change to BusArrival screen. So as you come to BusArrival screen, right, yeah, we haven't come to that, but okay, step 12 is actually asks you to under the onStart function, we first create the Arrival header. So let's do that first. That is simple. onStart. We refer to the BusArrival header container, this one, and then we instantiate the BusArrival header class, and then we add the header to this header container. Okay, now I want to explain about refreshing. So in order to refresh the BusArrival screen for every 1 minute, we first need to declare this variable. Okay, we have two variables that is initially declared as none, refresh bus arrival, and bus service of bus stop backup equal to none. Okay, so in the change screen function, copy this and go down here. So if the current screen, if your user state is this screen, right? Okay, first we come to this screen. Okay, if the user state is this screen, we are going to call the clock. To call this, go to BusArrivalBanner function every 60 seconds. Okay, initially you call this function from the bus stop banner. Okay, then after that, if the user stay on that screen, we want the clock to call this function again every 60 seconds. Okay, so when you call this, I'm going to assign this to self.refresh bus arrival at the top. This one. Okay, so next thing that we want to do is, if we are no longer at that screen, if we no longer at bus arrival screen, oops, okay, and if we are no longer at bus arrival screen, and then if this variable is not equal to none, which means you have a clock that is still running. Okay, we want this clock to cancel. Okay, that means as you navigate away from bus arrival screen, we want to cancel the clock. We don't want to refresh the screen anymore. Okay, of course, to use the clock, you need to import the clock at the top. Let's put this one here. Save. Okay, then now I want to explain why we want to have this instance. Okay, so so as we call this function again, right? Okay, we don't want to change screen to bus arrival screen because we are already at the bus arrival screen. So that's why you see here we don't have the self.change screen bus arrival screen. If you are first time loading, yes, okay, then we want to change screen to, if you're first time calling this function, then we want to change screen to bus arrival screen. But if the user stay at that screen, we are already in the bus arrival screen, and then we don't want to change screen to bus arrival screen again. So this is why I need to differentiate between whether you are first arriving to bus arrival screen or you are refreshing the bus arrival screen. This one is more for refreshing. This one is for first time arriving at bus arrival screen. Okay. So how to differentiate between two? That is a question. Okay. So we will check if the arg0 is a float. Okay. We will check if this one is a float. Of course, when you first pass this information here, it's not going to be a float. Okay. When you first pass the information here, it's an object, it's not a float, and therefore we will execute it. But this function is being called by the clock. Okay, clock is going to pass the argument here in terms of float. So you can try, we can try later to see where is the arg0 here and arg0 here, because when you're first loading into this bus arrival screen, the arg0 is equal to this one, but as you're calling this function again, refreshing and refreshing, the arg0 is going to be something else. Okay, so the difference between these two is, if you're first time loading it, you don't want to change the arrival screen again because we are already at. If you're first time loading it, we want to change to bus arrival screen, but then if you are refreshing, we don't want to change screen to bus arrival screen again. because we are already at it. Okay, I think there's one step that we missed out, which is to import the bus arrival banner from the BusArrivalBanner.py. Okay, so from BusArrivalBanner import BusArrivalHeader BusArrivalBanner. Now I think we are done. So if you run this, okay, bus. Then if you click this, it's going to show you, okay, now you are first time loading it. This is not a float. The arc0 is not a float. Now we are at this screen. Okay. So, okay, for the sake of showing you, I want to change the 60 second to, let's say, 3 seconds. 3, and then run it again. Here, bus. Click this one. Now it will bring us to the bus arrival screen. Okay. So now it's refreshing every 3 seconds. Okay. The arc0, when we are refreshing, is going to be the second. Okay, because as we use the clock to call the go to BusArrival function again, arc0 now is going to be second instead of our initial object. When you first come to BusArrival screen, we pass the object from the bus stop banner, but then as you are refreshing this screen, we are actually changing. We are actually passing the refresh second, in which is a type of float. So that is how we differentiate between, you can see, yeah, the minute is changing. That is how we differentiate between the first load BusArrival screen, or the or the refreshing BusArrival screen. Okay. So if you click back, then you can go to other, like for example this one. Okay. So now I want to go back, close this, and then I want to change this one to 60 seconds, save it. Okay, I think that's all for this tutorial. I want to stop here. It has been around 1 hour already. I hope you learned a lot from this tutorial and you managed to create this BusArrival screen. So in the next one, we are going to click this BusArrival banner, and then it's going to bring us to another screen, which is the bus route. We are first going to create a backdrop, and then the front layer we will have the route in the list, and then the back layer we will have a map view. Okay, so stay tuned to the series, and I hope to see you in the next one.